Do you make a lot of mistakes when you write an essay? Today we're going to be looking at some of the most common writing mistakes. Let's go. One thing we can look at is the accuracy of our language. How accurate are we when we are speaking? How accurate are we today? How accurate are we when we are writing? And the beauty about writing is that we have time to think. When we're speaking, we don't have any time to think. Whatever comes out of our mouths is what we say. With writing, you can write 2 or 3 words, pause, think, correct if necessary. That is the beauty about writing. You can take your time. You need to be strict with yourself. Imagine there is a Victorian professor looking over your shoulder, looking at everything that you write. Well, let's look at that professor first, and then let's do some marking. It was the witching hour, and the sleepless professor was still marking the essays of his dedicated students. Yes. What is it?
There's a caller for you.
What? At this ungodly hour?
He says it's a very urgent matter.
Very well. Show the man in. Come. Who's that? It's young Taylor.
Yes, sir.
What brings you here, young Taylor, at this time of night?
It's my homework for marking, sir.
Homework for marking, boy?
Yes, sir.
Hand it to me. Young Taylor. Be gone. Be gone. Here we have a composition handed in for correction. Before we look at this essay, please let me explain the marking key which will be used. The first symbol is to indicate unnecessary words. These often appear in essays. It could be because of repetition, or it could be because there is too much explanation. Not here symbol. This is used to show that something may be inappropriate, bad taste, offensive, or simply wrong. With the style symbol, it means something may be grammatically correct, but that something in the essay is unusual, perhaps out of date, unknown, or written in a way that does not connect well with the reader. The alternative symbol, this means there is a suggestion which could be used. It does not mean that there is a mistake, just that there may be a better way. Prepositions are words like in, on, at, above, under, etc. The articles a, an, the, or zero article. Errors are extremely common. The first thing to notice here is that this essay has 5 paragraphs. This is a typical number of paragraphs for a short essay. There is an introduction, then 3 paragraphs, firstly, secondly, finally, and then a brief conclusion. Having a paragraph scheme is both a good way to plan and present your composition. The most common types of essay, especially in exams, are discussion essays and opinion essays. So if you are a student or someone marking, it's really important to understand which type of composition is required. Why is it important to know the difference between a discussion essay and an opinion essay? Here's why. If it's a discussion essay, you will be required to look at two sides, 2 points of view. If it's an opinion essay, you only need to talk about your personal opinion. In a discussion essay, your personal opinion is only required after you look at both sides of the argument. In the final paragraph or the final conclusion, you can say how you feel having looked at both sides of the argument. But how do we know if it's an opinion essay or a discussion essay? Well, this is a deep topic and it requires practice. But if the question only asks you to look at one side or one point of view, then it's an opinion essay. If you are required to examine or discuss or compare, then it's a discussion essay. With this title, is a worldwide ban on weapons of mass destruction an attainable goal? Well, there is no indication here whether this should be treated as a discussion or as an opinion answer. It doesn't ask you to compare or discuss. It doesn't ask for your opinion. In this case, the student has treated this as an opinion essay. If you are writing an essay for an exam, please check all the criteria of that exam. Different exams have different types of questions and also instructions for answering. Knowing these details will help you achieve a higher score. We can see in the first paragraph, I don't think a worldwide ban on weapons of mass destruction is an achievable goal. Don't is a contraction. In essays, we don't use contractions unless it's a quotation, unless someone is speaking. So here, don't is replaced by do not. The second sentence, I have a few reasons for this. I, it becomes repetitive. Even twice is more than enough. The alternative suggested here, there are a few reasons which spring to mind. Spring to mind is a wonderful phrasal verb which you can use as an introduction. Moving on to the second paragraph, there's a capital letter, mass, M, it doesn't need to be there. Then preposition, innocence at public places. In public places have become more malicious throughout the world, especially in the US, even though many peaceful organisations are calling for the ban on guns. Here there should be a dash between in the US, even though many peaceful organisations are calling for the ban on guns. The ban on guns. We haven't talked about any ban on guns before in this essay, and it's not something which is unique or familiar. We need to use a ban here. The US administration, headed by Barack Obama, aimed to pass stricter gun laws, including the confiscation of automatic weapons, but they failed it due to the opposition from the National Rifle Association, a powerful pro-gun lobby. They failed. It is unnecessary. We don't need to use that. Due to the opposition from the National Rifle Association. Again, this is the first time that such opposition has been mentioned. You could refer to it later as the opposition, perhaps, but at the moment, no article is necessary. Moving to the second paragraph. Secondly, using weapons of mass destruction, such as nuclear weapons in warfare, is increasing. That's fine. The United States is one country, we use has, frequently intervened in a fight, but it couldn't reduce terrorism and inflamed the situation. Okay, so we've just proposed alternatives instead of a fight. Crisis situations seems a little bit more general. A fight is something very particular somewhere and it's unidentified. And then couldn't could not. There's another contraction we need to use, could not. Reduce terrorism and often inflamed the situation. In Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, for instance, terrorists fought wars with weapons to accelerate hostility and acrimony between ethnic and political groups. Grammatically, that's fine. There is an alternative suggestion. What has been written is grammatically correct. This is just an alternative, maybe slightly more appropriate word. To accelerate hostility, to provoke hostility. Finally, it's financially difficult to completely ban on weapons of mass destruction. Okay, it's again a contraction. It should be it is difficult to completely ban unnecessary words. We don't need this preposition on to completely ban weapons of mass destruction. However, another suggestion is that you could say it's financially difficult to completely place a ban on weapons of mass destruction. That could be an alternative. Perhaps we should just look quickly at the split infinitive, to completely ban. It's considered bad style or even wrong generally to split an infinitive. However, in day-to-day use, we do split the infinitive frequently. And you can see in this sentence, it seems to work quite well. Some people argue surveillance technology and other security enhancements can effectively prevent it. Yet beefing up security in every potential terrorist area is too costly to be feasible. Again, a possible alternative, instead of prevent it, negate the need for a ban. Moving on to the conclusion, I believe that a worldwide ban on weapons of mass destruction is not an attainable goal based on the above stated reasons. A hyphen is needed here because above stated is acting as an adjective to the following word, reasons. Any combined words which are used as adjectives before a noun need to have a hyphen. When you look at all the corrections here, you may think, oh no, this is terrible, but actually it's not so bad. Some of the notes here are just suggestions. The writer's message is well constructed with an intelligent argument and a logical conclusion. Despite the minor errors, the message is clear, and clarity is the purpose of language. In this composition, articles were one of the most common errors, and actually the rules for using articles are not so complicated. But when you are writing, whatever your weakness, whether it be articles, prepositions, word order, tenses, by writing essays you can quickly identify where you are making the most common mistakes. Making mistakes is part of the learning process. If you make a mistake in your writing, in your speaking, and you know it's a mistake, you can say to yourself, yes, I made a mistake. That was great. I know I made a mistake. I know what it was. It's part of improving your language, improving the accuracy of your speaking. If you make a mistake, tick the box. It's good. That was a review of some very common writing and speaking corrections. I hope there was something there for you. If you enjoyed this video, please send me a comment. I want to hear from you. Meanwhile, wishing you a great day. Bye for now.